The three lenses I used most for weddings last year and the newest edition, just in my hands right here. I know a lot of us buy lenses to magically make us better photographers. And the good news is the Nikon 50F 1.2 does just that. This was what my images looked like before the 51 too. And then after, wow, what a difference. I'm kidding, but it's a lens that I can't stop bringing to weddings. I actually don't even own it. I keep borrowing it from my wife, Lindsay. I'm going to talk about this borrowed lens as well as two others that I used for most of last year, plus a new lens that I just picked up that is likely going to replace one of those lenses. We're also going to be taking a look at Zeno later in this video. Hello there. I am Taylor Jackson, a wedding photographer and hybrid video creator from Canada. I've photographed over 1,000 weddings, likely closer to or maybe even over 1,100 at this point. During that, I have used a lot of lenses. Fortunately, the optical qualities of lenses have really improved. The technology and the cameras also makes our lives a lot easier. But what is interesting is that the focal lengths that I used when I first got started 20 years ago are pretty much what I'm still using today. And I'm gonna talk more about that in the video, but don't take these lenses as the ones that you immediately have to go out and buy. And for sure, don't switch your systems and sell all your gear just to buy what I'm gonna talk about in here. There's for sure an option for whatever system you shoot on, and there's probably also a third-party option that is a little less expensive as well. Third-party glass used to be a really bad word and pretty much unusable in a professional setting, and now it is just really wonderful. I am so happy to have the variety of lenses that we have in the space, and also lenses that are maybe a little bit experimental, like the 35 to 150 that I'll talk about later in this video. First lens that I use the most, not only for weddings, but also commercial and everything else. The Nikon 50mm f1.2. I guess I should also frame this for professional work. My travel lens, the one I'm filming on right now, is the 40 f2. It's really, really nice. But for an actual wedding day, the 51.2, it really creates an image that surprises me every single time. It's just beautiful. The way that the entire image renders, the warmth, the feeling to the image, really nice. I shoot it at f1.2 pretty much all the time. I think that if I do stop it down, it's maybe for a group photo. If I'm, your depth of field is based on your physical distance as well. So if I'm from here to the camera, I might still be at 1.2 if there's two people. But if I have to get a little bit closer, or if it's a group of people that all bow like this and some of the people on the edges are closer to me, at that point I'll start to stop down. But I feel like you lose a little bit of the magic of this lens when you do stop down. It's obviously technically, optically phenomenal. I think it actually is the most perfect 50mm lens ever made. But for me, I really like the look when it's shot wide open. So that's where I spend most of my time. I don't notice any issues at all, like technical issues. I know with the 35 that there's some environments that you might see a little tiny bit of fringing, the 35 1.2 that is. I would say it's very rare, but with the 50, I don't think that there's been a situation that I've ever had any sort of distracting element enter my photo that I did not expect to be there. If anything, the 50 is too good all the time, and you don't really get any randomness or surprises because it's just so good. The positives, the image quality, the negatives, the cost, the size, that's probably it. That's it. So if you are fine with carrying around a slightly heavier lens all day, I think that it absolutely is worth it. Again, I don't own this lens. This is Lindsay's lens, and I keep borrowing it over and over and over again. If you are looking, I made a full video about this, but the 35 versus the 85 versus the 50, all the 1.2 line, the 50 I think is the go-to for a lot of us. It's the least expensive of them, and I would say for weddings, probably the most useful. The 35 maybe being the second most useful, but the 35 I'm gonna cover in the next section, because right now we're gonna talk about the sponsor of today's video, Zeno. I started seeing Zeno, the print lab side, at conferences like WPPI going back maybe 10 years now. Today though, they're doing a heck of a lot more. With Zeno Cloud, you can now get Zeno Gallery and the e-store, Zeno website, Zeno Manager, which is a CRM manager to take payments and manage your business. The Zeno Gallery system is very easy to use, and it is a gallery system that leans heavily into selling physical products and hopefully selling those physical products at scale. And I guess this kind of comes back to their history of being a print lab, that they have designed the digital gallery tools to actually sell the physical products. Zeno Gallery is a very elevated delivery experience that you can completely customize. It's going to look great on any device. I like that it's super simple for client proofing and downloads. It's not going to make anyone frustrated just trying to get their pictures. You can generate slideshows as deliverables or for IPS. You can also see client activity. You can include videos in your gallery, and you can even do AI retouching in your gallery. Another huge feature is that it is 0% commission on prints and products or digital downloads. You can set your own prices, and there are a lot of products that you can include. If you're interested, there is a link down below for you to get started. And if you do decide to sign up, you can save 40% off annual plans with the promo code Taylor40. And I think you're gonna be really impressed with their pricing. Now let's talk about the 35. So 35, I use the 1.4. So the 1.2, I used it a lot. I used it at the shoot in Majorca for pretty much 2 full days. Love the results, amazing. But again, heavy, expensive, and if you already do have the 50, or should you also have the 35 1.2 in your bag? I don't know, I feel like it's a lot. I am very happy with the 35 1.4. So there are two 35s that Nikon make in this more attractive price point. They have the S version, which is the f1.8, and then they have the f1.4, which is a non-S. And that's confusing because the 35 1.4 is slightly less expensive than the 35 1.8. And it's because the S line gets, I think, additional coatings and maybe just more optical upgrades. Whereas the 35, I feel like it's very marginal, but I think it does let some of those slide. And I think the 35 1.4 just makes a better feeling image for me, or an image that I prefer over the 1.8. I use the 1.8 a lot, and initially when Nikon was starting their mirrorless lenses, I tried, I think, every lens that came out in the beginning. And I ended up deciding that I was gonna keep the 50 because it's wonderful, 50 1.8. This was before the time of the 1.2. The 24 1.8, which is also a very beautiful cinematic lens as well. And then the 85 1.8, and that was kind of my wedding day kit. And while I used the 35 1.8 a lot, I never really fell in love with it. The 50, like, I feel like there was some scenes, this shoot here in Italy, even the JPEGs on the back of the camera, it was really doing something special. I never really felt that with the 35 1.8, but the 35 1.4, I have had those moments. So that is, I guess, my preference. Sorry, I can't quantify exactly the reasons for all of this. I also like to just shoot with a shallower depth of field as well. I think it looks prettier on wedding days, and the 35 is the lens that I show up to wedding days with, so for getting ready, and to be able to blur a little bit more of the background in that getting ready environment usually helps me minimize distractions as well. So 35 1.2, if I had not even an unlimited budget, but the desire to carry around really heavy stuff all the time. If you've followed the channel for a little while, you know that I carry everything in one bag. And the 35 1.2 is just a little bit too heavy for me to do that. Love the optical quality, everything about it. But my choice last year, and the one that I ended up using the most, was the 35 f1.4. Now into the final lens, and the one that might be replaced. So in my hands right here is the Tamron 35 to 100 f2.8. It's very lightweight, lighter weight than I was expecting. The 35 to 150 is incredible. It does everything all wedding day. 35 all the way to 150. It begins at f2, and then by the time you get, I think, around like maybe 80 millimeters, maybe a little bit less, it's already to 2.8. And for me personally, because I'm doing video as well, and a sliding aperture is gonna change how much light is coming in the lens, so it's gonna make my video feel a little bit weird. I usually just shoot everything at f2.8. So now I can just do that. I obviously miss out on getting the additional 50 millimeters, which means potentially I'm going to have to bring another lens, maybe a 70 to 180 or a 135 prime or something. I would say for the style of weddings that I do, I have, at least over the past maybe 10 years, I rarely find myself in a church environment, a larger church. That is when I absolutely want to have something that goes all the way, at least mostly to 200 millimeters. And even when I have a lens that goes to 200, I'm still usually going into crop mode in my camera to get even more reach out of it. But for my usual weddings, I would say they're normally maybe around 110 to 150 people. It's usually in an environment that looks similar to this or exactly this. I shoot the same venues maybe 10 or 12 times each per year. And while it's nice to have the 150, I don't think it's necessary in those environments. So a lens like this gives me a lot more versatility, especially when someone's coming down the aisle at me. I feel like that moment, it's really nice to have 35 and also 100 on the same camera. Again, I'm also doing photo and video coverage, so I could definitely like swap cameras and have a 35 on one and a 70-200, but then I'm juggling both photo and video settings, and if I can just do everything on one camera body with my backup over my shoulder, I'm a lot happier. So having a 35-100, I'm curious if at the end of the year, this is gonna be in my bag more than the 35-150. So there it is, my 3 most used lenses in weddings this past year. What is it going to be this year? Probably the same, and then the addition of this 35-100. Thank you so much for watching. Any questions, put them down below. And if you do want to get started with Zeno Gallery, use the link below to get started for free, and the promo code Taylor40 for 40% off any annual plan.